Right now at 5, time is running out for Missouri property owners who owe 2 years of back taxes with just days left to avoid auction.
And we have heat advisories across most of the area as we head into the upcoming weekend. Details in your forecast coming up.
Plus, Missouri counties are battling the state tax commission over property assessment values that could affect your tax bill.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now finally Friday here in the 4 states,
Yes.
August the 15th. And we talked about heat advisories yesterday. You know, we initially during the morning show, we didn't have any, and I said wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting some, and well, that's what we've got.
Right,
so not surprising there. It
No.
is going to get hot this weekend, but we now officially have some heat advisories to talk about. Let's start with our look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good so far again this morning. We've got clear skies out there. Our camera 7th and range line also looking good this morning as well. And here's that nice bright orange map that we all love so much. At least it's a happy color. It's not a good news color, but it's a nice color to look at. But we have heat advisories. Now, here's the thing, which is typically the case, is we have, again, 5 different National Weather Service offices that cover our area. We've got Topeka, Kansas City, Springfield, Tulsa, and Wichita, and they all have varying expiration times on these, but the Springfield ones, which is this zone here, these run through at least Monday evening. Tulsa, of course, goes day by day, so they'll expire this evening, probably go back into effect tomorrow. For now, Topeka, Kansas City, and I believe the Wichita ones all run through tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see if they get expanded any further out, but we do have these heat advisories because we've talked about the heat index values as we head through today into the weekend, reaching 105, even up to 110. Unfortunately, in some cases, it might even exceed that, which is not what we want to see, but that's what we've got. Outside of that for today, just a few clouds here and there. We're otherwise going to remain dry. Again, future track is hinting at a shower or two, but again, those chances are just so low that it's a highly unlikely situation that we're going to get any kind of rainfall. 76 in Joplin right now. We're sitting at 73 in Pittsburgh, so above average across the area. Most of us are there. We've got Grove, Miami, Jay, a little closer to normal at 71, as well as Sedan, but we've got a lot of low to mid 70s as we get this Friday underway. We'll be in the low 80s by 9, low 90s by noon. Our highs today going into the upper 90s, some of us getting close to 100. And again, our heat index values 105 to 110 possible today with the south breeze at 5 to 10. We're going to talk about the heat into the weekend and see if our relief that we're looking forward to next week is still on the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, we'll see you soon. Well, property owners across the state of Missouri who've been delinquent on their taxes could see their property go up for sale. Owners who have a 2-year tax delinquency have until August 22nd to pay the taxes they owe before their property will be auctioned. Jasper County Collector Stephen McIntosh says property owners will still have the ability to keep their property even if a certificate of sale is made.
If they can afford it, come in and pay their taxes. If they pay by the end of Friday, it won't be in the tax sale. End of Friday of, what'll be the 22nd. Yeah, they pay by end of next Friday, it won't be in the tax sale. That's their best plan of operation.
The tax sale will take place Monday, August 25th at 10 a.m. at the Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage, Missouri. And it's an issue that could make a difference for your family's budget. The property value assessment process is expected to be a topic in the upcoming Missouri legislative session. 80 counties were informed by the Missouri State Tax Commission they were out of compliance with the state law and that they needed to raise property assessment values. Some, like the Newton County assessor, have refused to raise their valuations by the requested amount. In response, the State Tax Commission voted to withhold assessment maintenance funds more than $100,000 in Newton County alone. The commission's actions are drawing criticism from lawmakers like Missouri State Representative Dirk Deaton, who sat down with KOAM to discuss why he now wants to see reform.
Especially when a state bureaucratic entity, the State Tax Commission, unelected bureaucrats are trying to force and push elected county officials to raise these assessments. That's where I felt it was really inappropriate, and we've got to take a closer look at that.
Representative Deaton says he is also working on legislative reforms that would target increases to property taxes across the state. He says he wants to file a bill to allow counties like Newton and Jasper County to have the option to vote to freeze property taxes on their primary residents. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can always download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. A conversation unfolds about the future of local funding in Fort Scott, Kansas. Community members packed the Empress Event Center to weigh in on whether to keep or eliminate a half-cent sales tax that's been in place for the past 4 years. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, city leaders, including the city manager, say the tax is essential, helping to support key projects like engineering upgrades, new equipment for first responders, and more.
I came out this evening because I am completely ignorant of this topic and I came to be informed.
Karen Elizabeth is a Fort Scott resident. She, along with her community members, are currently paying a half-cent sales tax. But she wants to know, is it worth it?
I want to know what it's spent on, how successful the expenditures have been so far, and some accountability as to whether we were over budget, ran under budget. Were those good projects? Are they projects worthy of being continued?
Mayor Tim Van Hookey says the community needs this tax.
Everything from parks to, of course, the road work that's been done in this historical town. You don't have enough time unless I'm taking over your 6 o'clock hour.
City members say this sales tax will help first responders, parks, and more. But residents say,
I would keep the tax that we have for the streets. If we break the question down, I would probably vote against the other two.
Controversy from even before I moved here a year ago, April, about the bricks and whether or not they should be continued, how much cost it is required to refurbish those as opposed to just your usual asphalt.
city leaders say 80% of the tax will continue to fund streets in Fort Scott.
Our old asphalt or brick covered with asphalt or the brick roads that we're looking at right here in our historical downtown, so there's always going to be a lot of work to be done.
He says this tax is necessary regardless.
Oh, it would definitely have a detrimental effect, not that we would give up.
Reporting in Fort Scott, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Fort Scott residents will vote on the half-cent sales tax in November. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump is set to meet with Russian President Putin in Alaska today for a high-stakes summit aimed at ending the war in Ukraine. Plus, new guidelines aim to combat high blood pressure, which affects nearly half of adults and ranks as the nation's leading cause of death. And Chris will have another look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 5:08. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch, the U.S. State Department has announced visa restrictions for unnamed African, Cuban, and Grenadian government officials. Wednesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the visa restrictions are for those involved with Cuba's medical mission program. The alleged labor scheme sends thousands of doctors to dozens of countries as forced labor. The visa ban will also apply to family members of government officials. And the United Nations reports July as the deadliest month for civilians in Ukraine since May 2022, with 286 killed and 1,388 injured across 18 regions. Long-range missiles and short-range drones are major threats since Russia's invasion in February 2022. Over 13,883 civilians, including 726 children, have died and 35,548 have been injured. Soon, President Trump will take off from Washington, D.C. for Alaska for his much-anticipated meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. It comes 2 days after the president warned of severe consequences that should Putin not agree to end the war with Ukraine. The White House has described today's sit-down as a listening session since Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will not be present, though President Trump is pushing to include him in future talks. Turin Small has more on what to expect from Washington.
In just a few hours, President Trump will come face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin for a high-stakes summit in Alaska.
We're going to find out where everybody stands.
The president has said he expects the meeting to be a starting point to future talks that include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and he says he'll know within minutes if Putin is serious about ending Russia's war with Ukraine.
If it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
President Trump is expected to sit down with Putin one-on-one with only their interpreters present before their delegations join them. Zelensky traveled to Berlin and London this week to shore up support from allies ahead of the summit. In a virtual call with Trump on Wednesday, Zelensky and European leaders pressed the U.S. president to push for an immediate ceasefire, and they pledged to ramp up pressure on Russia if necessary. Zelensky said he also told the group that Putin is bluffing. Russia has stepped up its military assaults on Ukraine in recent weeks. Some protesters in Alaska say they're skeptical the summit will result in a breakthrough.
I think it's all for show and it won't lead to anything good.
If the meeting does go well, the two leaders are expected to hold a news conference afterwards. Torian Small.
Well, still to come, Grateful Dead fans get IMAX screenings of the band's movie for their 60th anniversary. Plus, Chris returns and he'll let us know if cooler temps are on the way from the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, movie and streaming news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
The first teaser trailer is out for Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet as a young man with dreams of ping pong greatness. The comic drama from director Josh Safdie is due in theaters December 25th.
I wouldn't want to have your job this week. You wouldn't want to have my job any week.
Landman is coming back. Paramount Plus has announced the West Texas oil drama will return for season 2 on November 16th. Billy Bob Thornton earned a Golden Globe nomination for his starring role in the hit series.
She's got everything delightful. She's got everything I need.
It's time for Deadheads to meet up at the movies again. The Grateful Dead movie is back for the band's 60th anniversary. This year, for the first time, some screenings will be in IMAX. The celebration begins today. Locations and tickets at meetupatthemovies.com. Still trucking in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, very cool. Let's head over now to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Regrettably, our forecast not very cool. We have heat advisories across the area as our temperatures heat up, rolling into the weekend. Got a full look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:18. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 520 now on this finally Friday in the 4 states. Unfortunately, I don't have really good news for you. It's going to start to get hot. We've been talking about it now for the last few days. We knew this heat wave was coming, and it's finally here. Today, really not much out there. We could have a few clouds this afternoon. Otherwise, pretty sunny, pretty hot across the region. That will continue into our Saturday. Looking at maybe some partly cloudy skies as we roll into Saturday afternoon. Still showing some pop-up shower potential. This is another one of those really iffy things. Our better pop-up storm chances have been to our east. By Saturday evening, it's suggesting we might get a few in our far eastern counties. We'll wait and see on that. I'm not 100% certain that that's really going to transpire, but it's saying that some might try and backbuild a little further to the east. But even if they do, the majority of us will remain dry, and that will continue into our Sunday as well. So our heat index values, again, begin rising today. Number of locations, 105, creeping up a little closer to 110 out there. And then as we head into Saturday, it's the same thing. 105 to 110 is the approximate range on these heat index values. Sunday, the process will repeat again, but you can see some folks may come down a bit in that 100 to 105 degree range. Others, though, still looking 105, 110, and we go into Monday. This is why, at least from the Springfield office, these advisories run through at least Monday evening, because you can see those heat index values, even those who might get a brief break on Sunday, won't be a big break, but a little bit of one, go right back up into that 105 to 110 degree range. So, again, we have heat advisories across the area. They all have varying expiration times, but the latest of them, which is from the Springfield National Weather Service office, will run through Monday evening. And again, wouldn't be surprised to see some of these extended or carry on a little bit later through the weekend as well. So, of course, we've got all of our heat safety tips on our website at KOAMNewsNow.com/forecast, which means it's also available in the News app and in the Skywatch Weather app. Very convenient, lots of great information. And as I've told you in the past, anytime we've got the extreme heat, we'll have those graphics there for your convenience. All right, clear skies through the morning. We warm up quickly, near 80 by 8 o'clock this morning, low 90s by 11 a.m. Our highs today cruising into the upper 90s, maybe even some of us close to 100 degrees. A few clouds here and there, south winds 5 to 10. Then we'll clear out for a bit this evening before we might see a few clouds overnight. Take a look at these temperatures, low 90s by 8, mid 80s by 10, and back into the mid 70s once again for our overnight lows with that south breeze 5 to 10. Now, something that's, folks are beginning to kind of keep an eye on here is what is currently tropical storm airings at 74 miles an hour. It's when she'll become a hurricane, and she's forecast to become a major hurricane as we head into the weekend. I'm not sure why it jumped like that, but we go up to possible Category 4 strength. So this is 130 mile an hour winds. This will be early Monday morning. So the track at this point doesn't go out super far, but it does show it beginning to turn to the north, which means at this point it would end up avoiding the panhandle of Florida. But if this track were to hold and it continued northeasterly, we're talking a pretty impactful situation for the New England states. New York, Washington, Boston could all be under the gun unless there's some force that curves it back to the west into the Carolinas and the Virginias. So we'll keep an eye on it. Of course, I'm sure a lot of folks are watching that. It's one of our first major hurricanes of the season. So hopefully it weakens if it does approach New England states or any of the U.S. coastland, but we'll have to monitor that. And, of course, hurricane folks will monitor that as well. All right, our temperatures still upper 90s, near 100 through the weekend, start of next week. We do have our pop-up storm chances. Temperatures maybe not necessarily below normal by the middle of next week, but still looking to drop back down at least near average. So this heat wave still looks to be short-lived. We just may not get the same impressive relief we were looking at yesterday, but we'll continue to watch that as well. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, there are new guidelines for people at risk of high blood pressure. The American Heart Association recommends limiting salt intake, consuming no more than 2 alcoholic drinks a day for men or 1 drink a day for women, losing 5% of your body weight if you're overweight, and managing stress with meditation, breathing exercises, and yoga. High blood pressure affects nearly half of all adults in the U.S. and is the nation's leading cause of death. Well, more than a third of Americans aren't aware of the link between the human papillomavirus and cancer and don't know there's a vaccine that can prevent it. A new analysis published in JAMA Oncology found states with the lowest awareness about HPV were in the Midwest and South. Another issue, HPV vaccination rates for boys are far lower than for girls. HPV can cause several types of cancer, including cervical cancer, but many are unaware that HPV can also cause cancers that affect men, such as head and neck cancer. Researchers say they've discovered over 100 people in their 60s and 70s with the immune system of someone much younger. A Mayo Clinic study calls it a fountain of youth immune system and says these people have specialized immune cells. Scientists hope to learn more about why these people have young immune systems, but they also point out there is a downside, a higher risk of autoimmune disease. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, families in Southwest Missouri gain access to expanded children's health care services through a new partnership with Children's Mercy.
And heat advisories going into effect for most of the area today and heading into the weekend. We'll have a look at that toasty forecast coming up.
Plus, Wichita State University Tech and Crawford County's Career Center celebrate their new partnership with the ribbon cutting in Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
Hi, Chris Warner. It's finally Friday here in the 4 states, August the 15th, and we've got the heat to deal with.
Right.
It was getting pretty toasty over the last couple of days, but today and into the weekend, even hotter across the area. Yeah, I know. It's not a good way to start, for some kids, the first school weekend, you know, and they're not going to be able to do a lot outdoors, but that's all right. Don't worry. I mean, once we get a little further in September, hopefully things a little better. Let's start with that live look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Looking good. We do have clear skies this morning, so that's certainly some good news there. Our camera 7th and range line, clear skies also visible as well. And here's those heat advisories that are in place. And again, with all the Weather Service offices that cover us, they all have varying expiration times, but the latest of these, which is from the Springfield office, which is here, run through Monday evening. Will the others be extended or expanded or extended in time? I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, Tulsa, as you remember, goes day by day, so they'll expire at 8 this evening, very likely go back into effect tomorrow. But one way or the other, we're dealing with that potential for dangerous heat. And unfortunately, we really don't have any relief from the heat expected. Could have a few clouds as we roll into the afternoon. Outside of that, it's just going to be sunny. It's going to be hot. Again, Future Track thinks a shower might be possible, but the overall chances are just so low that it's just not something that we're overly concerned about. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see anything. We didn't see anything yesterday. Future Track thought a shower or two might be possible. Didn't happen, so it's unlikely. We're very warm this morning, but not very warm, but we are above normal. We're at 76 in Joplin, 74 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, keep in mind, average low is about 69, 70. The closest we've got are some 71, Sedan, Miami, and Jay. Everybody else, though, low to mid-70s, and progressively we'll start to see upper 70s through the morning until we eventually make the low 80s by 9. Few clouds this afternoon, low 90s by noon today. Our highs into the upper 90s near 100, and our heat index values today, 105, and in some cases possibly reaching as high as 110, especially in our western counties, so you've got to stay hydrated. Make sure you're taking precautions. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about how long this heat's going to last and what our possible relief next week may look like here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Mercy Hospital announces a new partnership with Children's Mercy in Kansas City. They hope to bring expanded pediatric services and specialized care to Southwest Missouri. Children's Mercy will manage Mercy's hospital based in specialized pediatric care starting this November. They say this will strengthen the coordination between providers and improve access to care for children.
For certain specialties that we don't provide in Springfield, you have to travel 2.5 to 3 hours for even a clinic visit sometimes, or if they're in the hospital, depending on the duration of their stay, they may have to stay in that city for quite some time. And that takes parents away from their jobs, it takes families away from their care networks, and now they can get a lot of that within Springfield.
The Children's Mercy specialists are already providing care in Springfield with expanded outpatient services in cardiology and support for neurology. Under the new agreement, Children's Mercy will provide management for pediatric services like surgery and the intensive care unit. Wichita State University Tech and the Career and Technical Career Center of Crawford County celebrate a new partnership with the ribbon cutting. The campus, located in Pittsburgh's Industrial Park off North Rouse, expands tuition-free technical education and career pathways in southeast Kansas. C-Tech has operated in Crawford County since 2016, and with WSU Tech partnering, students will now have greater access to certifications, dual credit courses, and hands-on training in fields like welding, HVAC, and heavy equipment operations.
So we want to come in and we want to just work side by side to continue to build upon the good work that they're doing, and then really listen to business and industry and to students on what do they need that they're not getting today, and then what are those programs, how can we bring those programs in, help build them together.
Well, since opening, C-Tech has served more than 1,000 students and awarded over 1,100 industry recognized credentials. The Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas is expanding its annual Match Day fundraiser into Match Week from November 10th through the 14th. For the past decade, Match Day has helped raise over $1.9 million to support local nonprofits and community organizations. The week-long event aims to make it easier for community members to participate and provide funding to important causes across Southeast Kansas.
It's truly humbling each year to see the support that our community provides and how much they care about our local nonprofits. It's just fantastic to see the support that comes in, the dollars and the number of donations. So to some people, giving a small amount is as much as somebody else giving a large amount, but everybody wants to support those who are doing great work in our community.
Local organizations who receive Match Week funds include the Miners Hall Museum Foundation, the Pittsburgh Public Library, and the SEK Humane Society. Well, Joplin teachers get some of the fanfare they deserve to start the week. The Rah Rah is a tradition at the start of each academic year as teachers and staff get together for a pep rally. The administration showcases exceptional employees and achievements.
See how unified the district is and how everybody is kind of there to support each other and create like a big welcoming atmosphere, and just kind of setting the standard for how the school year will go.
The Joplin Public School year begins next Wednesday. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Werner recalls more than 120,000 ladders after 18 people fall and get injured. Plus, new research shows skipping breakfast could increase your risk of developing dementia later in life. We'll have the latest time now, 5:35. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, the Producer Price Index, which tracks costs for manufacturers and sellers, surged 0.9% in July. That's the biggest jump in 3 years. Economists say the increase suggests that President Trump's tariffs are driving up the cost of imported goods and that consumers could face more price hikes in the future. Werner is recalling more than 120,000 Multi-Max Pro multi-purpose ladders in 20 and 24-foot sizes, which were sold exclusively by Home Depot. The company says the product's locking mechanism could jam and pose a fall hazard. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there have been reports of at least 18 falls resulting in over a dozen injuries, including bruises, fractures, and head injuries. Consumers are warned to stop using the ladder immediately and to contact Werner for a full refund. And attention Muggles, Harry Potter has come to Krispy Kreme. The donut chain is launching a magical line of treats inspired by the 4 houses of Hogwarts, available starting August 18th. Fans of the popular book and movie series who rep their favorite house can get a free original glazed donut on August 23rd at participating Krispy Kreme locations. And that's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's head over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty toasty day again out there as temperatures continue to climb into the upcoming weekend. We're going to talk about this heat wave, how long it's going to last, how hot it's going to get, when we might get another break from it, and we'll have the latest on Tropical Storm Aaron when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 5:39.
Beef prices continue to rise, but consumers appear willing to pay. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Beef prices are now at an all-time high. USDA says the average price for ground beef reached $6.25 per pound. That was in July. Now that's up 13 cents from June and also up 9.2% from last year. That's being driven by record cattle prices due to historically tight supplies. However, consumers aren't backing away from beef at the grocery aisle despite those higher prices, possibly due to the current protein craze in consumers' diets and years of genetic advancements made by cattle producers. Now, bacon and sausage lovers will appreciate this. JBS USA is announcing plans to renovate a 186,000 square foot former production facility in Ankeny, Iowa. The plant used to belong to Hy-Vee. It will be converted to create the largest ready-to-eat bacon and ready-to-eat sausage plants in JBS USA's portfolio. The plant is expected to be up and running by the middle of next year and create about 400 jobs. And you might not want to skip eating sausage or bacon for breakfast after hearing this. One study says skipping breakfast could increase your risk of developing dementia. It says adults who ate breakfast perform better on memory tasks than those who skipped it. Experts say your brain needs fuel after fasting overnight, and starting with a nutrient-rich breakfast could help protect your memory. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now here's Chris with a full look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got that dangerous heat rolling into the area. The future track doesn't really have a lot to show us. We'll have a few clouds out there as we head into the afternoon. Outside of that, again, we should be dry. Just really at this point, unless I tell you different, ignore the rain that you might see on the future track, because really our chances are all but zero at this point. We're just going to stay hot and dry. Now, Saturday does get a little more interesting in the evening hours. Our pop-up storms have really, any of those opportunities have been off to our east and off to our southeast. However, by Saturday evening, Future Track thinks some of those to the east might try and push to the west a bit into our far eastern counties here. I think that chance is very low as well. We talked about it yesterday, but it is showing up. It's a possibility. If we do get anything, it would be gone. It would be here and gone before you even realized it was raining. But that is at least a chance. We'll otherwise just have partly cloudy skies into our Saturday and into our Sunday as well, with temperatures continuing to stay hot. Heat index values today up to 105 into the 105 to 110 range for many of us. As we head into our Saturday, same thing, 105 to 110. Some locations Saturday might get a brief break if you get a little more cloud cover. It's not like it's going to help a lot, but it might be a little cooler. And then by Sunday, again, same situation, but I wouldn't necessarily count on it down here south of I-44. And like I said, even if you get to these slightly lower values, you're not going to really notice the difference. Everywhere else still 105 to 110, and that will continue into our Monday, much more widespread again by Monday as well. And that's why our heat advisories, at least the latest of these from the Springfield office, they've gone ahead and put them out through Monday evening. Tulsa, of course, goes day by day, so we'll probably see them reissued each day. And then the other three weather service offices that cover our region have run them through tomorrow evening. I would not be surprised, especially in the southeast Kansas, those of you that fall under the Wichita office, which is here, I wouldn't be surprised if they extend those through the weekend as well. So remember, all of our extreme heat safety tips, KOAMNewsNow.com. Just click on the forecast there and we'll have those available for you. Clear skies through the morning, near 80 by 8, low 90s by 11 a.m. Into the afternoon, upper 90s near 100, if not at 100 for some of us, with just a few clouds here and there. South breeze 5 to 10. South winds 5 to 10 overnight as well. We'll clear out from some of those clouds briefly through the evening. Still in the mid 80s by 10. Mid-70s again tonight, so well above average again, with maybe a few passing clouds out there. And we're continuing to monitor, of course, tropical storm area. Now, we've got some time before it gets a little too close to the U.S. mainland, but the problem that we're facing, I got to fix that weird freak out that map does, could reach major hurricane status as we head into the weekend, start of next week, as it starts to reach Category 3 and potentially Category 4 strength. Now, at this time, the track has it turning north progressively, so it's not at this time taking aim at Florida, but still Category 3 strength here. And if this path were to hold, that would put it right into the New England states. So we're talking Washington, New York, Boston. This could be a significant situation if the hurricane holds strength and if it stays on that course into New England states. So something that I know a lot of folks are probably going to be watching very closely over the next several days. And again, that was Monday morning when that thing stopped, so we're still looking mid to end of next week before we get close to the New York coastline there. All right, so for us, upper 90s, near 100 through the weekend. Pop-up storm chances, at least some that are worth mentioning here, Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperatures next week, we're looking to drop below normal into the mid-80s. May not happen, but at least they will cool back down to near average levels. So that'll be our break from this particular heat wave we're going through right now. So just make sure between here and there you're staying hydrated and taking, of course, the appropriate precautions. Let's check your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Elise now with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Lamar Tigers have built a dynasty over the last decade and a half, winning 10 state championships since 2010 and enter this year as the reigning back-to-back champs. Similar to last season, the Tigers feel like they're being doubted after seeing several seniors graduate and coaches retire. However, Lamar is using the outside noise as motivation and are focusing on the guys they have in the locker room.
We lost a lot of really good players last year. We lost a lot of really good coaches, to retirement and things. So, a lot of people think that we're going to take steps back just because we've had some subtractions by graduation and retirement, but our motivation is to prove all of them wrong. I've just seen what our program can do with kids. I've seen how our kids work. I've seen how they develop. I've seen what the off season is and kind of what that turns into come fall.
It's a real big motivation because there's a lot of people that doubt us. It's hard not to go talk to somebody who thinks we're going to do something good, but if you talk to anybody here, we all think we can do something. So,
now as the Tigers gear up for the season, the emphasis is to take it week by week. Lamar's philosophy is to learn from each practice and game, but the most important aspect is to stay in the present.
It's going to take a consistent reset is what it's going to take. It's going to take us putting whatever happens on a Friday night, good, bad, ugly, put it behind us, read the scouting report on Sunday, and get better come Monday, and have that mentality throughout the week. That's the only way to do it. You cannot have, a rear view mirror outlook. You also can't be looking too far forward. You have to focus on where you're at right now.
Lamar kicks off the 2025 season at home on August 29th against McDonald County. And the Monette Cubs redefined themselves a year ago, embracing the program's storied history with a new head coach. Now, as the Cubs enter year 2 under Brendan Mock, they're eager to build upon last season. KOAM Sports' Ben McLeish has the story.
Just 2 seasons ago, Monette football didn't win a single game.
Taking over after an 0-10 season, the morale was down. Guys didn't know how to win. They didn't know how to train to win. They didn't know how to prepare themselves to win.
Now, second-year head coach Ben Mock is trying to change that, bringing a winning culture to Monette.
I think the biggest thing about Monette football is that there's just a rich history of tradition and excellence in the football program.
3-time state champions, 19-time conference champions. Cubs football has defined the town for decades, and the Monette community is all in.
That's one thing we were missing. We were missing our community, and I feel like right now our community is much more behind us than they really ever have been.
Looking up at the stands and seeing everyone cheering on when we score is just a great feeling.
Last season, the Cubs won 3 games, a big jump from their winless 2023 season. But now, Monette has its sights set higher.
I'd like to win a lot of games.
The Cubs returned 14 varsity players from last season, 7 guys on each side of the ball. But they'll have their work cut out for them in the Big 8 Conference.
We play in one of the, I believe, the toughest football conference in the state of Missouri, so we're going to have our hands full week in, week out, but we're excited for the challenge.
Ben McLeish, KOAM News.
Monette opens their 2025 season at home against the Nevada Tigers on August 29th. And Chiefs training camp wrapped up yesterday with the regular season rapidly approaching. On Thursday, Kansas City received an update on a potential suspension for wide receiver Rashid Rice. Now, the Chiefs' star receiver is expected to have a disciplinary hearing with the NFL on September 30th due to his involvement in the multi-car accident back in March of 2024. This opens the opportunity for Rice to play in KC's first 4 games of the season and arguably their toughest stretch, facing the Chargers, Eagles, Giants, and Ravens. Now, in July, Rice pleaded guilty to 2 third-degree felonies and was sentenced to 30 days in jail and 5 years of probation for his role in the accident. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back. A woman from New York is getting married and she wanted to find her own diamond to set it in her ring. So Mashir Fox headed to a place known for its gems, creator of Diamond State Park in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. Now, she spent 3 weeks searching, and on the last day of her trip, she found a 2.3 carat white diamond. Fox's discovery was pretty big, and it was the 3rd largest diamond found at the park this year. People have found more than 350 diamonds here this year. Well, if you have a favorite way to relax, today is the perfect day to do it. It's National Relaxation Day, the annual day to focus on yourself. Whether it's work, family, or other commitments that keep our lives busy, taking an extended breather can be a significant way to reduce stress. Many of us have a favorite activity to distress, but this day might be the chance to try something new.
I think today is a great day to relax. It's too hot. Get a chair, get comfy, just sit there, enjoy, because it's too hot. Look at these temperatures. Nobody wants to look at those temperatures. Clear skies this morning. This chair is a little too short here, but so am I. So that's just how this works. See, now I'm not relaxing. Near 80 by 8. Low 90s by 11 o'clock this morning. Yeah, this isn't working so well. It looks a little weird, doesn't it? Upper 90s today, near 100. A few clouds. And see, look how short this chair is. Like, if I wasn't short enough, chair's even lower. Will be heat index values today, 105, 110. That's why we do have heat advisories in place through at least Monday. Clear skies this evening, back down to the mid 70s tonight with just a few clouds here and there. Temperatures stay hot through the weekend. I'll take this and slide it over there so that you can see these numbers. I know you don't want to, but you got to. Upper 90s near 100. Heat index value still 105 through 110 into the weekend. A few pop-up storms Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's some good news, and the reason that's good news is it brings our temperatures back down to average. Now, yesterday we were looking at the long range. We were hoping for some like mid 80s by Wednesday, Thursday. Might still happen. It's still several days out. The one thing that still is showing up, at least, is the temperatures will come back down, and they'll come back down to a much more manageable level for us, which is certainly some good news because this heat wave, it's going to be there. It's going to be short-lived, like the one we saw last week. That's been the nice thing. I mean, at least so far, is our heat waves we've experienced have been short-lived. We haven't had to deal with a lot with them, but while they're here, they still can be dangerous. Remember, got a lot of heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/forecast. We should stay near normal, though, as we head through the second half of the weekend into next weekend. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.